Hey, what's up, guys? This is MugenLord here, and my God, the week just started and things are getting crazy for Sony and their first-party studio, Insomniac Games, because last week they were hacked, and it was pretty much a ransom. If they don't cough up over $1 million, they were saying that they were going to release over a terabyte or so files of their upcoming slates of games, more specifically Wolverine. And guess what? Just yesterday or last night, they weren't playing because the Wolverine files are out there, and also their lineup of what games they have going all the way up to 2030. So we definitely want to dive into this video. So before I give you pretty much my opinion and go through a couple of articles regarding this situation, make sure you hit that subscribe button, that notification bell for more gaming content here on this channel. This is nuts. Now, this is not the first time that Sony has been hacked. They have definitely been hacked in the past. Many other companies like Capcom has been hacked, and we've been getting a ton of different information as far as their upcoming games, and we've been seeing these games actually come to surface. And also, you gotta also remember too, well, Rockstar was also hacked as well when it came to Grand Theft Auto 6. We had got a chance to see some alpha footage, and then of course we actually got a chance to see the trailer of Grand Theft Auto 6. But in this case, when it comes to Insomniac Games, this is spreading like wildfire. And the thing is, I've seen the gameplay, I saw the alpha footage, and I won't show it here because I know Sony, Insomniac Games, and YouTube's going to come together like the Avengers, and they would literally nuke my channel if I show any of this. But I will describe some of the things that I've seen from the footage that has been surfacing or been leaked around the internet. But let us dive right into it, because this is really, really crazy. So, of course, from TheVerge.com, Wolverine part of a massive Insomniac Games leak after ransomware deadline passes. So it says Rashida has released over a terabyte of internal company data comprising over 1.3 million files after initially asking for a $2 million ransom. This is nuts. This is nuts. And as I said before, their lineup of games, like, I'm not really going too crazy over it, or not really like too fond of it, but you have a lot of fans out there who've seen the lineup and are super excited for it. So we'll definitely, once we get to that part, I'll give you my opinion on that. So footage of Insomniac's upcoming Wolverine game has started widely circulating on X after hackers published troves of internal data from its developer. Cyberdaily reports that a total of 1.67 terabytes of data comprising over 1.3 million files has been released by Rashida ransomware gang, which announced that it had stolen the data in a hack back on December 12th. At the time, the group announced an auction price for the data starting at 50 bitcoins, roughly $2 million, and a 7-day deadline to pay. Alongside level design and character materials from Wolverine, the leak seemingly includes several internal companies' presentations, contains details on unannounced Insomniac and Sony games, screenshots of internal spreadsheets, and details on development and marketing budgets. And yeah, guys, when I saw the files, they actually have the actual programming of the game Wolverine, like everything that's underneath, the coding, everything. I mean, these dudes was not playing around when I say that they really wanted that $2 million. They have every bit of that game, the early process of that game. So from here, it says Wolverine is reportedly named as a first in a trilogy of planned X-Men titles, with the second and third due to release before the end of 2029 and 2033 respectively, according to Cyberdaily. There's also mentions of a third Spider-Man game based on Venom and a new entry in Ratchet & Clank franchise. Now, this is the thing. They had a whole map. When I say a whole map of what they have for Insomniac games, yes, it goes all the way up to 2033. Starting, I think, around like 2025 or 2025 or 2026 is going to be Wolverine. Then I believe then 2026 is Venom, and then we have Ratchet and Clank, and then finally, last but not least, we have an X-Men game that's essentially coming. But I don't have the sheet in front of me, but I may have mixed matched their orders. But from what we see in the slate, people are excited, but for me, this is Insomniac Games that we're talking about here. especially the current Insomniac games, and I'll give you my thoughts and opinion on that in a second. So then it also explained that video game studios have been the subject of several recent hacks. Footage from Grand Theft Auto 6 was released online last year after being hacked by Lapsus, and the Cyberpunk 2077 developer CD Projekt Red, Bandai Namco, Riot Games all have disclosed attacks in recent years. And it says Rashida was the subject of the cybersecurity alert published last month that was co-authored by the U.S. Department of Justice and Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency. The alert noted that Rashida has been seen to use VPNs to connect to internal company systems from the outside, often using compromised credentials with organizations lacking MFA enabled by default. So yeah, Rashida, these guys, or this group, is really like animals going wild right now. They don't give a damn about anything. But essentially, most of the articles pretty much go over most of what we already talked about. So I'm gonna give you my thoughts and opinions on what's going on, what's happening with this entire hack. Well, as I said before, Insomniac is not the Insomniac that everybody have remembered from back in the day. Insomniac is definitely changing and going in totally different directions, which, like I said, Insomniac has his little controversies, especially with Spider-Man 2, with some of the Miles Morales missions, with, some ESG approval stamps on some of the missions and some of the story directions and stuff that they have going on. And then you have one of the creators or one of the producers behind the game went on their little spiel after fans had their complaint about the Mary Jane missions, because people don't like the Mary Jane missions, and I don't blame them. And then it looks worse in Spider-Man 2, and pretty much the producer said they pretty much don't give a fuck, and they doubled down on it. So as you can see,
let's talk about the MJ missions a little bit.
Okay, let's talk about it.
Because you made her like the most OP character in the game. Let's just get it out there.
She's OP.
One shot everybody.
She's OP. I knew that those missions weren't the fan favorites coming out of Spider-Man 1. We knew we had to make her more of a proactive, capable person. And if she's a little OP, I don't give a shit. It's important to have her be a capable hero. This might sound cliche or whatever, cheesy, but you don't need to have powers to be a hero. In the original plan, she wasn't a playable character in the last mission, but we thought, hey, can we get all three of them working as a team in that final mission? So at the very end, she's there. But yeah, she's OP. She's probably OP. I don't care.
And the fact is that they don't care. They doubled down on it. Even when fans said they don't want it, all they care about is the money. You gave them the money. No matter how much you complain about some of the things you didn't like in Spider-Man 2, because you supported the game, you enjoyed the game, they got your money down. And since you gave them your money, whatever they have in mind, they're going to double down on it. So when it comes to the Wolverine hack and the files that I've seen and the gameplay that is shown off, now you have people in the comment sections. You also have people on Twitter giving their feedback on the alpha footage that they've seen and the stuff that I've seen. And you have a lot of people that had said the same thing in the comment sections. A lot of people saying that, a lot of this is just reused assets of the Spider-Man game, but now it's implemented and retooled for the Wolverine game. And then you got people saying that, Insomniac Games is pretty much creatively bankrupt. Like, what is this? Now, the thing I'm going to say about this, as far as the leak is concerned, I really can't really judge the game can't fully judge the game for the simple fact is, I really can't judge the game for the simple fact that the game is in the footage that I've seen, it's actually in alpha. And we already known and seen what happened with Grand Theft Auto 6. A lot of people talked about how the game really does look rough. But at the same time, you do have people that were still excited because they've seen the potential of the game. And then of course we've seen the Grand Theft Auto 6 actual trailer. It looks nothing like what we've seen in the earlier alpha footage. So we can pretty much say the same thing about this, what we've seen with the Wolverine, but the only issue is when I look at how people are judging it, people aren't as excited for the alpha that they've seen. They don't really see potential in it. A lot of people keep saying that, this is just a reskin of Spider-Man just with Wolverine in it. That's all they have done to it or whatever, compared to the Grand Theft Auto 6 leak that they had about last year. People seen where Rockstar, and where they're trying to go and the potential that they see with the game itself, but people don't see it here. And then of course they also implemented a Mary Jane type of section into the game, where they pretty much utilize, can I say it here? Jean Grey. Jean Grey will be a playable character at some point in the game, and I call it the Mary Jane segment is because of what they're doing here, because her gameplay is completely different from Wolverine's, and it doesn't really, like I said, it's alpha, so we don't know how it's going to turn out in the end, but it looked kind of bland. It looked pretty much uninspiring for that fact on top of that as well, because the alpha just looked rough with the Wolverine gameplay, and then adding in the Jean Grey type of gameplay, it makes it even look even more bland with the direction of the playstyle they decided to go with Jean Grey. I mean, Jean Grey is one of my favorite X-Men characters, but her gameplay just looked uninspiring. I don't know what's going on here. And then let's talk about that lineup, that slate that they have. They have plans all the way up to 2033, and they're really trying to start this whole X-Men type of expanded, I wouldn't say universe, I think this Insomniac Marvel universe. So you have Wolverine, and then they're going to implement other X-Men titles that's going to lead up to the X-Men game. To me, in my personal opinion, they should just didn't do Wolverine. They should just went to straight up X-Men or whatever. But this may be because they're trying to line it up with the potential X-Men movies within the MCU probably. So they want to have all that around at the same time. But this is the direction that they're going. And of course, a new Ratchet and Clank game. Now, the thing is about Insomniac, look at this lineup, and people also said this too as well, because I was thinking about this, it was in my head when I was looking at the map, and people were saying just as well as myself, I was like, they have no original IPs. It seemed like that Insomniac is just going to be like a Marvel, they're going to be just spitting out Marvel games, just back to back, kind of like how Naughty Dog has been just doing nothing but, first they did a whole slate of Uncharted for a generation, and then now we have The Last of Us, and they're just doing a whole slate of The Last of Us, and it seemed like that Insomniac is pretty much just focusing on Marvel games because of the success that you guys had for the Spider-Man games, and it seemed like they're just going to be going down this road of Marvel games. And to me, I think it's just such a waste of potential for a company such as Insomniac Games, because they did give us some pretty cool IPs back in the day that was really, really unique, and it was very, very different. And I would like a company like that to continue to go down that road. But it seemed like that, hey, they found something that works, and they have an IP that is well known. It's a well-known name brand. It's a safe route to go for them, and they can just double down on it. But as far as I'm concerned, after seeing Spider-Man 1, which I didn't care for, and I seen the writing on the wall for Spider-Man, and then Spider-Man 2, which caused a lot of controversy and some of the design decisions and some of the social, political, cultural war aspects that they implemented into the game, ESG and all this other type of stuff like that, I don't have any hope for the future for these Marvel games. To me, I think they're going to double down on a lot of this ESG stuff in their games, especially for Wolverine. I think it's going to be a lot of that moving forward. And as the producer or one of the creators of this Insomniac Spider-Man game, don't care. They don't care about your opinion. They're going to do what they're going to do. More specifically, Mary Jane's the catalyst for all that. She's a symbol of they don't give a fuck. As long as y'all keep giving them money, they're going to implement things that you don't want and you don't like in your games. So look forward to seeing more of that in the future with their games. As far as Ratchet and Clank is concerned, I think they're going to double down as well. They're going to ESG that up as well.
Of girls in respectable positions of power. Music to my ears.
So yeah, that's essentially it, man. Like, this is getting crazy. I don't know what's going on at Sony at this point. It's like Sony got to get themselves together. Had Jim Ryan that stepped down, and then now they probably moving leadership, and it's going to be a lot of shifting around. And then of course Bungie is going through their situation, which we covered as well. But now it's even more of a problem, which we will get into in its own video. Bungie finally left to be its own company, to have its own independence, just to get bought by Sony. And then now Sony is now talking about, hey, we're going to be in charge. Now they're going to not let them freely create the games that they want or have free reign to operate how they want. Now Sony's is going to take full control, so they end up running back into the same problem. And of course we have the Naughty Dog with the canceled Last of Us, a multiplayer game. It's just scrapped, it's canceled. So we'll be talking about that in another video. What is going on at Sony at this point? What is going on? We talk about Xbox a whole lot. We talk about them and their fuck ups. But my God, Sony, what the hell's going on? So I want to hear your thoughts and opinions. Have you seen the Wolverine leaked footage? And what do you think about the lineup, the slate that's going over to 2033, where it's just more so comprised of Marvel games? Do you think that this is just a waste for such a talented company such as Insomniac Games, or you think Insomniac is just over for them? They're not the same Insomniac that we've known and loved and grown up with. So I definitely want to hear your thoughts. This is MugenLord, sign off. I'll see you Game Fiends later. Peace out.